Let's understand cookies in JavaScript. Cookies are somewhat similar to sessions and the local storage, but they are also different, and understanding the difference is really important. So let's go to the application tab right here. And right here you can see we have, for example, the local storage, we have the session storage, and we also have the cookies right here. So we have the cookies for this URL, for example, as you can see. And now you can also clear the cookies. Now they're all gone. And as I've already mentioned, the local storage will be stored inside of the browser and will persist over many sessions. So even after reloading the session, the local storage will be there. The session, as the name implies, will persist over one single session. So every time you reload the page, for example, or go to a new tab, the session will be clear. Cookies, on the other hand, can also persist over many sessions, but the difference is that every time you send a request to your server, for example, and get a response, you also add this cookie to the request. So this is really good to authenticate the user, for example. So you can, for example, store a user ID inside of this cookie. You can send the request. If you want to get data, for example, the cookie will be automatically sent with this request. The server will see, okay, we have the user ID. So this is a valid user right now that is logged in, and I can reply with the data, for example. And it's also important to understand that usually if you want to save a user ID, for example, as a cookie, you don't do that via JavaScript because that is something that should be handled using PHP. But you can also set data using JavaScript inside of a cookie, and that should obviously be data that is not that important, not that relevant. So we can set a cookie by saying document.cookie. Now we can set this to a string, for example. Right here, we can, for example, say that a monkey is equal to ayo. Now we can use a semicolon. Right here we also need to set an expiration date. So we can say expires is equal to, and right here we need to have a pretty long timestamp. And I actually can't really remember the syntax, and I don't recommend you to do this. So you can actually just generate a new date. So you can say const date is equal to new date. So we're going to create a date object. Now we can say date dot set date. We're going to set a date. We're going to say date dot get date. We're going to get the date of our date object that consists the current date. And now we can say, for example, that we want to add 7 to that date. So by using the syntax, we're saying add 7 days to the current date. So this date will be 7 days in the future right now. And now we can insert our variable right here into the string by using this syntax. And we can say date dot to UTC string, which will convert this string to the perfect format that we're going to need for this expires field right here. Now we also need to define a path, and that one can be equal to a slash, which means this cookie is valid for the entire website. Now let's save that one. We can go into the browser, we can refresh the page. Now as you can see, we have this cookie that has a key or a name of monkey and a value of AO. If we want to get this cookie, we can, for example, say, let's console.log this cookie by saying document.cookie. So setting the cookie and getting the cookie has the exact same syntax right here. Let's go to our console. And as you can see, we are right here at the top getting monkey is equal to AO. If you wanted to delete the cookie, we could just go ahead, copy that line, for example, paste it in here. Now we can also update the date. So let's say we're going to use a different date. We're going to say date.setDate is date.getDate plus 7. Instead of plus 7, we are going to say minus 7, for example. This does not need to be minus 7, but it needs to be any point in the past. Because if a cookie expires in the past, it will be deleted. So we're going to do that one. We're going to set the cookie once again. And now let me console.log document.cookie right again. And this here should be the deleted cookie. So I'm going to add that one as well. We're going to console.log that. We're going to reload our page. And as you can see, we're only getting the line deleted cookie, but we're not getting any information right after because the cookie is now deleted. We can also take a look at this in the application tab. If we take a look at the cookies tab, we are not having any cookies anymore because the cookie is deleted.